I'm only able to take you where you really want to go.
Yeah, I have to be open.
You have to be open, but like, you know what? Taking ultimate responsibility. If I want to get to success, this is the thing that's holding me back. And there's no reason for me to hang on to this.
Stars above, I know that we're gonna make it.
Stepping like a weapon on the field to get some. On the real, we appear to get gone.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, man.
It's really cool to have you. So, just for context, guys, Karim is from Melbourne, came to Sydney, and now we've got Karim on Think Different podcast. Now, I'm really excited for a multitude of reasons, honestly. One of them is because you were the first guest back on the podcast for us in the new studio, which is, I mean, not to gas it up, but I'm pretty proud of the studio.
It looks good. Looks cool.
We've got a few boys behind the camera and grateful for the team. So, very excited to speak to you. But maybe Karim, first things first. Who is Karim?
Mm-hmm.
Give me context to who you are, what you stand for, and maybe what you do.
Sure. So I'm a peak performance coach, mind performance more specifically. And I use an advanced form of hypnosis to get into your subconscious and for you to think different. I'm a father. I've got 2 kids. My wife is going to deliver a third in October.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'm an ex-stutterer, so I couldn't speak. And then persevered, wanted more for myself. I believed in myself. And here we are. I sometimes travel the world, sometimes travel Australia. I give talks. I hypnotize people. All that type of fun thing.
Amazing. Now, when I first read your profile, ex-stutterer,
Mm-hmm.
what came to mind was your framework of stuttering. Is your framework of stuttering, or the way that you got over this, a framework that you believed that it was a structure that you could conquer and not something that, because I remember you speaking about in your TED Talk how when you sing, it's not there. When you are acting like someone, it's not there.
Yes.
And when I do the math and I carry the 1, I'm thinking, hold up, it's still Karim. Is this a limiting belief, or is this actually something, and this is me being really ignorant as well.
Yeah.
So I hope that is not offending.
Not at all. Not at all.
Is this a limiting belief, or is this something that you were born with?
For me, and I can only speak for me, I went through a lot of speech therapists, and I'd feel like they didn't really understand what was going on inside of me. It was just a coping mechanism. It was sort of like, okay, well, your leg's broken. Here are some crutches for you to learn how to walk.
Yeah.
And when I was stuttering, it was a really good tool because they sort of reteach you how to re-speak with this limitation. But I still had the stutter, right?
Yeah.
But as I got older and I started to do this kind of work, I started to really ask the question, what was it about me that allowed me to stutter? Like, as you said before, as I sang, when I was acting like someone else, I didn't stutter. When I was wearing a mask, when I wasn't me, I was more confident. So what was it about me that made me less confident? And I started to ask the questions. And once I started to do this, to go down this journey, to go down this rabbit hole, I understood that I was scared. My subconscious was telling me that I was scared, that I was constantly running, and so I felt like I was constantly in a rush. And yeah, I didn't even know that I had anxiety. I didn't even know that I had all these limiting beliefs like you mentioned, because it wasn't brought to my attention. I just thought this was me. This was the person that I was born with. This was the person that, it's just my character. And I built this limiting belief that this was just it, and I accepted it. Until I got older and I started asking questions, and I'm like, why do I have to accept it? And this is the journey that I've been on. So to answer your question, I found out that I wasn't confident within myself. I had a lot of limiting beliefs. I was 140 kilos. I had weight loss surgery twice, so extreme. I've done every diet. I couldn't read as a kid because I had dyslexia, learning difficulties. I was bullied, the whole story, right? Parents came here with nothing, all that kind of thing. And I didn't know that all those things affected me and my confidence. But now I knew that it did. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Hmm.
And the insane part about this is like from then until now, the transformation that you've gone through, like I don't look at you and I hear this and I can't put it together.
Yeah.
140 kilograms.
Yeah.
Stuttering, a lot of different things that are in your path.
Yes.
That it's like Karim that I see in front of me and the Karim that you're describing to me, two different people. Is it two different people to you?
Yeah. The people and the friends that I grew up with are like, dude, you're very different.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even the friends that I've had from the past, it's like we don't resonate anymore because I've grown, I've quantum leaped, as an expression. And we just don't see eye to eye anymore because I've outgrown a lot of my old friends.
Is that as difficult as sometimes not having friends, is losing friends?
It's like mourning. It's like mourning deaths
Yeah.
because these are your childhood friends. These are the guys that you've had, the best memories with as a child. And now you sort of have to grieve the loss of your friends. It's a painful experience because you're like, sometimes you question if you're the idiot, if you're the one going through this because of you, like it's your fault. You feel lonely, you feel isolated when you go through this type of growth. And I think life puts this type of things in front of you on purpose because it really tests that if you really want this. And then as you grow and then you meet other people that are just like you, you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is what it should be. And all of a sudden, all your questions get answered.
Was there a point in time where you felt like there needs to be a shift? Then does it need to be change?
Yeah. So I remember this moment so well. I was going through one of the toughest times in my life. So before doing this type of work, I used to be in surgery, mentoring and coaching surgeons while they were operating.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So, and that was a really stressful game because not only did I have to deal with stressed, overworked, burnt out surgeons, but I had to deal with the nurses, I had to deal with the management and all that kind of thing. Had to deal with my own company and my managers. And as I was sitting there just reflecting on me, I was thinking to myself, what do I want? And my wife was pregnant and I wanted more time and more money with my future kid. I didn't want to be this stressed out guy, overweight guy, stuttering guy. I wanted my kid to have the best chance and the best possibility when they were born. They didn't come into this world because they wanted to. So I really wanted to be the responsible person, take responsibility for my own shit and get myself sorted. And I remember sitting down on the couch, feeling sorry for myself because I was about to quit my job. I didn't know where to go. I didn't have any other job to go to afterwards, but I knew that I couldn't be there anymore. And it was one of those moments where I was just sitting in my jocks, feeling sorry for myself, feeling like broken because I had just quit my job. I had built this career, had climbed up to get into that surgery room. And I'm just thinking, what do I do with myself? Like, who am I now? What's my identity? Everyone knew that I was this, surgical account manager. Now, who am I going to be? My parents came here with nothing. They did everything and they sacrificed a lot for me to be here right now. Now I'm in the same situation. I've got no money. I'm shitting my pants because I can't possibly pay rent. So what have I done? And I remember while I was sitting down on the couch, I remember asking God or the universe, just give me a sign. And all of a sudden, this preview of Tony Robbins came up. It's a show on Netflix called I'm Not Your Guru. And I remember being moved by Tony. He's one of the guys that really did something for me. And I remember asking to myself, he must be doing something right. He's moving so many people in such little time. I really need this shift too in my life. I need answers. I need clarity. And so I looked up what Tony Robbins studied, and he studied neuro-linguistic programming, NLP. And then that was the start of my journey. I went on and studied it. And then I studied more things and more and more. But yeah, that was the catalyst, is I was going through a really rough time in my own life.
When you were in the surgery rooms, what was the main objective in this part of your life, being in the surgery rooms? Like, what were you doing there?
So I'm not sure if you guys know, but surgeons don't have time to upskill themselves. Okay. So whenever there's a new device or a new thing that comes out into the market, like there's a new thing every week. And so it's our responsibility as representatives to go in and make sure that these guys are up to date with how to use our products. So if someone's going in for surgery and the surgeon needs, to use a new toy or a new equipment, they need someone in the room to teach them how to use the products while they're operating.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
So if anyone has ever had surgery, most likely there's a representative from that company making sure that the surgeon's using it correctly.
The boys should know what my surgery was, and that's kind of crazy. I had some pretty invasive surgery.
Oh yeah? And
it was in Germany, so
right.
I didn't know what was happening.
Sure.
I'm just thinking back. I wonder which one of them.
What was your surgery?
They thought it was testicular cancer.
Yeah.
So I had to get a tumor removed, and it was like the first big surgery that I ever had.
Wow.
And by myself in Germany, not knowing right from left.
Wow.
And I go, like, literally the next day I had to get surgery. And yeah, it was like, I have got no idea what's going on. And now there's probably someone in the room who also was teaching the surgeons what to do.
Yeah. It's like sometimes, like the whole room's full.
Yeah. Okay.
Of people.
Wow. Had no idea.
Yeah. And you're just there, with your balls hanging out.
Literally. one of them on the counter. Had to take it out. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but that's how it works behind the scenes, man.
Okay. And then the change, let's say, that moment in time.
Mm-hmm.
The steps that you took to get there after that. You said that you were in speech therapy. You said that you were in all these different things throughout your life. What was the first action that you took to change?
I said to myself that I need to change.
Mm-hmm.
I said that the direction that I'm going in now, I could tell that I'm like going to hit something big, like negatively. Like I was just going to it's not going to end well if I'm keep going down this road. And so I had to take radical change. And that meant that I had to take radical responsibility. Not to keep running away from the shit that I had to sort out. Is to take radical responsibility and not become a victim. So one of the first things that I had to say is that how did I contribute to being here? Most people would be like, it's not my fault. It's life circumstances. It's this or that. It's your parents. It's your coach. It's your teachers. It's whatever. And they're not wanting to take responsibility of how they got here themselves. And once you do that, once you take ultimate responsibility of how you got here, because ultimately no one's got a gun to your head. No one's telling you, hey, act this way or do this. Yes, these things might have happened to you, but it's your responsibility to take ultimate control, and it's your responsibility to sort it out yourself. Change your mindset, change your habits, change your thinking for you to have a better future. No one's gonna come save you. People think that, you're going to wake up and someone's, this guardian angel or, this knight in shining armor is going to come up and, whisk you away and save you from all this and give you a good job and, look after you and all that kind of thing. And no, it doesn't work out. It doesn't work out that way. What really happens is that you have to take ultimate responsibility for you. And when you do that, life changes, because it means that you've put yourself from the effect of others and you've changed yourself into the other side of the equation, which means that you are in control. Once you are in control, life changes for you. It's more sustainable. You're not waiting on something to happen for you to receive something. You're going out there and you're doing it yourself.
Radical responsibility. That's a difficult topic for people to understand without fully, like, having, I would say, examples even.
Yeah.
I've always been trying to be as radically responsible as possible, to where maybe I'm even being responsible for things that I shouldn't be, like maybe other people. And I feel like just because they're around me, I'm responsible to help them.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the extent of responsibility in your mind? What's not your responsibility and what is your responsibility?
So that was me too, right? I was a huge empath.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm assuming that you're an empath too. You've got a really good heart.
Sometimes. Maybe. We'll skip over that one.
Right. So if you're saying that you're also wanting to take responsibility for others, it's showing that you are an empath, right? People think that this is a good and noble thing.
Mm-hmm.
In some cases it is, right? You're thinking of others, you're wanting to help others, which is good. But what happens is that you are taking energy from outside of you and you're pouring it into someone else. But what you're really doing is you're really distracting yourself from what you actually want and need.
Mm-hmm.
And you're burning yourself out. So I used to be that guy. I used to be like, I'm going to help the world. I'm going to save the world. So I'd go out and I'd be like, hey, you need help. No, man, I'm going to need help. I'm going to help you. And it felt good for like 10 seconds. But what I learned is that I was trying to help them because I was seeing myself in them, that part of me that was in them that needed help.
Mm-hmm.
So then I started shifting and I'm like, okay, what do they need? And how can I see that myself? How can I see that part within myself? And then I started helping me because I was just constantly distracting myself from taking that radical responsibility.
Okay. So it's like the old adage of, on a plane, you put your seatbelt on first,
yes,
then help others.
Yes. So fill your cup up first, and then once you're full, you can help others even better. Yeah. Okay. And what's the mindset shift to you? Because I actually, when I look back at my timeline, I was almost too young, I think, to when I could even think of when I'm like, now I'm gonna start taking responsibility. Yeah.
It was just something that I think I naturally just lent into at a younger age, and then maybe got a bit more extreme with it as I got older.
Yeah.
And I could only think when I was 14, there was a bit more of a change. So 6 years ago for me, that's when I felt the biggest, kind of change. But even then, it's the compound effect after, it's very, it compounds. And I would imagine for you, that time scale, what did you feel the learning, let's say the learning gap, or I guess the parabola, is that the right? I'm not great at maths.
That's okay.
The chart when it goes like this.
Yeah.
Where were you on that chart when you actually started to feel a change in radical responsibility, or even just a better version of Karim?
Dude, I was a lot older than you, not long ago. Just before I had my first child. I was down in the dumps.
Yeah.
And then I started to ask questions based on me, or my coach started to ask me questions. It got me thinking differently. Hang on. One of the questions that he asked me was, because I was highly anxious and I didn't even know that I had anxiety. I thought it was just me.
Yeah.
I thought that my mind was just racing, and I thought this was just normal.
It's hard to know what's not normal if that's all you know.
If that's all I knew, right? Yeah. That's exactly right. But then as I was going through the process of personal development, I'm like, hang on, I've got this anxiety. I didn't even know what it was.
Yeah. And
then I thought it was just a now thing, just from stress, right? Because life happened, and, I forgot to mention as well is that after I went from my surgical devices role, I wanted to start my own business.
Okay.
Because I wanted more time, more money with my kids, and then that didn't go too well. I had less money, less time. And so I had to make a radical change. And one of my mentors said, Karim, what's the link between the anxiety that you've got today and the anxiety you had as a child? And in that moment, it was like time froze. It was like, hang on, what did you just say? Because in that moment, I learned that I could connect the dots, and it was like someone turning on a light inside of me. I was like, oh my gosh. This whole time, I didn't know. Because what happened is that when we landed in Australia, I was 2. We had nothing. Dad came to Australia. Mum and Dad came to Australia with 3 kids. They didn't have the language. They didn't have a job to come to. We were escaping persecution in Egypt. So we had to come here ASAP. And by the time I got into primary school, I was already like an Aussie kid, right? I didn't know how to speak Arabic. It was just Australian. It was just English. And when I went into school, I had the stutter, and the teachers thought that I couldn't speak English, so they put me into a class called ESL, English as a second language, and the kids thought this was just where the dumb kids go. So I identified myself as being dumb and stupid. But we were around housing commissions at the same time, so I was constantly scared. We were constantly around scarcity as well because we couldn't afford to pay for certain things. So I was constantly having this anxiety. Out in the playground, didn't have friends. Inside the classroom, constantly got in trouble, constantly criticised by teachers, probably from my ADD. I didn't even know that I had. And so my mind was just so racy and scared and constantly looking for safety, psychological safety. I don't even know. And so I carried this on for the rest of my life. I was constantly this boy looking through the lens of fear. And this affected me in every way. It affected me in my relationships. It affected me in my performance. It affected me in my weight. So all this little thing had a significant effect on my whole life. I was eating because I needed to numb myself from my anxiety. I didn't even know that.
Massive domino effect.
Massive domino. It just affected everything. The way that I was interpreting information was constantly in fight or flight.
Every single thing that you lived was operating under the schema of something that was hindering you.
Yes.
Which I think is what you speak about having a physical stutter, right? Is that the right phrasing? I can't remember, sorry.
Yeah, so the problem wasn't my stutter.
Yeah.
Right? In my TEDx, I talk about having an inner stutter.
There we go.
Right?
Yeah.
The problem wasn't my physical, me not talking. It was my inner stutter, all the limiting beliefs that I had about me, all the negative self-talk, the things that made me hesitate to get to that next step. That was the thing that really killed me.
Did you ever stutter when you were really young, consistently? Was this something that...
I stuttered for as long as I remembered. I came here when I was 2, remember?
Yeah.
So I think my subconscious may have felt the trauma of leaving Egypt abruptly, coming into a new area, moving homes every 6 months, having nothing, having that feeling that look, my parents were beautiful. They gave us everything, but I could feel the scarcity. And I think all kids can feel things, even though their parents try and shield them from it.
Yeah. It's like a tough thing for a kid to go through. And like you mentioned, you don't want your kids to feel as if I guess you didn't choose to be here, but best of luck.
Yeah.
None of us in this room chose to be
exactly
literally alive, so we may as well make the best out of it. But your schema, I think you mentioned it in your TEDx talk as well, was a bit of a victim mentality. Now, victim mentality is a tricky one
Yes.
because it's such a different level, and it really does do a full domino effect on your circumstances. Walk me through even examples of how a victim mentality could hinder you day to day.
If you're constantly blaming what you don't have based on your past or based on things outside of you, that makes you a victim. So this topic isn't for everyone, right? I've learned along the way that people want to stay in that victim mentality because it keeps them safe. It keeps them it keeps them comfortable. But they're not really that comfortable. They're still complaining, right? So if you're going to be uncomfortable, might as well do it right? So yeah, people that are constantly saying, but you don't know about my life story, you don't know what I've been through, it's the government, it's my parents, it's my relationship with my mum, it's my manager, it's my boss, it's my kids. They're always blaming other people, and they're not taking radical responsibility of how they contributed to where they need to be, to being where they are.
If you had a message for people who have a victim mentality, what would one piece of advice be? Because it's also difficult to speak to a victim when they operate in the schema of victim mentality.
Yeah. What I would say is, let's reframe this. Let's speak to people who want more for themselves, who have been looking at getting better.
Yeah.
Because they're the type of people that obviously listen to the show as well, right?
And would want to change.
And that would want to change. And they're the type of people that I help.
Yeah.
Right? Is that this thing that is holding you back, this story, it doesn't need to be this story. Like you can write your own book now. You can draw a line in the sand and you can say, yes, these things have happened to me. But then how do I make it work for me? And what I do is I take people on this journey of saying, hang on, these things that actually happened to you are actually happening for you, because now that they've happened to you, you are actually more resilient and actually are able to get through life a lot easier because you're a lot more resilient. And they're like, oh my gosh. So changing the narrative, changing the story, because the people that are successful now, and I've worked with the most successful people in the world, I've noticed is that they're successful because they're resilient. They're resilient because they've had some sort of adversity growing up in their life. And so that is now a superpower. So flip it on its head.
Working with hyper successful people, that's an interesting one because there's always a stark difference. You don't just come across someone and be just a normal person. You can kind of tell the difference between a normal person and someone who's either on the right track or literally just they think different.
Yeah.
I think that the way that they operate versus the way that a normal person operates, if you were to think of one characteristic, what would that be?
Is that they take action.
Action. Okay.
Yeah. When they take responsibility, it's then, then they take action.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people in this world that they just talk shit, right? They're like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And nothing happens. You see them 2 or 3 years later and they're just, nothing happens. They've got a really good idea about an app, or they've got a really good idea about a business. They've got all these are just dreams.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's just hope. The difference between them and ultra successful people is that they take action. They're willing to go through the shit. They're willing to make mistakes. It won't work the first time around or second time, maybe even the 100th time. But they're that resilient because of their past that they're able to go through the shit. That's the difference between someone who is ultra successful and someone who isn't.
Action is a big one.
Yes.
When I gave you one, I think paired with responsibility is nice. If you were to think of two things, yeah?
Yeah.
But also action breeds responsibility.
Yes.
So if there is someone who's thinking, oh, well, I'd like to be responsible. I'd like to take action. I don't want to do both at the same time. I'd start off with action. You'd say that. Start off with action.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Just take action. Just do the thing that you want to do in your life. Yeah.
Let's have a break.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, hypnotherapy.
Nice.
Yeah?
Nice. Cool.
Okay. Awesome.
So part of what I do is I help see people's subconscious blind spots, right? They want to be the best people that they want to be, in this lifetime. But usually there's this thing that's holding them back, this subconscious thing. They don't know what it is consciously. And they go throughout life on autopilot, and they don't know why they're not performing at their best. So before I hypnotize you, what I usually do is I usually assess what is actually your blind spot. And I do this just through quick questioning. I've done this for a long time. So I can possibly already see what's holding you back. I can just usually look at people and know this is it, just by asking 4 or 5 questions. We were talking before in the break, so we've already done some of that questioning, but just for the people listening, you mentioned that a lot of the things that you do is just as a vehicle.
Yeah.
And what that tells me is, okay, hang on, a vehicle means that it's very transactional with the things that you do. It's very vehicle orientated. It's if 1 + 1 is 2. If 1 can get me to 2, then I'm going to take this bus and it's going to get me there.
Yeah.
And there's a saying of, how you do one thing, you do everything.
Mm.
So what that also tells me is that in your relationships, it's also going to seem transactional too.
Yeah.
That you can't express your emotions. And people that can't express their emotions, the reason why it's transactional is because they don't want to let people in. And usually what this is then it's fear-based.
Yeah.
Right? So they can't let down their guard and just surrender to emotions, to surrender to failing because they're scared. So it's this fear that's underlying that you are possibly running this program of fear of running this transaction. Now we can keep going and questioning, right? I can keep asking you asking you about your childhood story, your relationship with your parents. This is usually where it starts, right? And there's usually a parent that you are mimicking or a role model, sometimes not even favorably, that is also showing the same traits as being transactional. And as a kid, you don't really understand right from wrong. You just mimic your role model or this person. And so you continue on doing the same thing. And then life, along the way, as you're going on through life, you will tend to find like a bias for being the person that you are.
Yeah.
Right? And this bias will constantly wanting to prove that how you see life is right.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is that the information that you receive as a person is very limited to what the actual information is out there. So at any one moment, there is billions of bits of information around you right now per second. You can only absorb around 50 bits of information per second. So what you see and what you believe is true is going to be different from everyone in this room. And that's where people go wrong. So is what I'm saying resonating with you, by the way?
Yeah, 100%. I would say my circumstances are a little bit weird. I did a lot of things which most kids my age wouldn't have done early on, which means that childhood-wise, I think I was extremely privileged to have an amazing family, amazing mum, amazing dad, amazing sister, really the perfect childhood. I definitely mimic traits of my dad, and I would say I mimic traits of my mum as well, but there's also a weird mix of which
there is.
I learned a whole heap of things by doing stuff myself.
Mm-hmm.
So when I look at the discipline that my dad tried to instill in me, I then took it to a crazy level. And I was like, I'm going to be the most disciplined kid in the world.
Yeah.
Watch me.
Yeah.
And then I might take things from my mum's side and be like, well, obviously I've got to try and be the best at that. And I think that this is what we're talking about with the fear, right? I don't want to come second place, or I don't want to be insufficient. Is that what you're talking about with the fear side?
Yeah. So you also hate being told what to do.
A little bit.
Okay.
But not actually extremely, because I also am aware of my ignorance.
Right. Cool.
So I'll always admit that.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah, but that's where the underlying fear is that you need to do things on your own. You want to go out and, do things, which is great, which is good, but it only works up until a certain point. Because I use this example of you can become a lone wolf. You can do things really well as a lone wolf. But do you want to become a lone wolf, or do you want to become a king of an empire? A king of an empire has his generals, has his soldiers, but he's also got his people that he listens to.
Yeah.
And they're the people that actually have an empire.
Yeah.
Right? And that's where people get stuck, is that they want control. They see things as transactional, but things aren't transactional because we're emotional beings. And if people can't connect to you and you can't connect to others, then you've already lost. They're going to see you as a person that they can't trust because they can't connect to you. So your blind spot is within your transactional philosophy, may be a hindrance to you. Maybe not now because you're still young, right? You're still going through the motions. Which limiting belief or which emotion do you really resonate with? And that's something that I can't tell you what it is. You're the expert.
Yeah.
So what is it? So what is it for you?
It's difficult for me to really dive deep.
Yeah. But what is, if I brought in a parent, or if I brought in one of your ex-partners, right?
0, by the way. We're all laughing because we know it's nothing.
Right? Or if someone that knew you really well, what would they say about you?
And
that's holding you back.
That's holding me back.
Yeah.
I think a lot of them would say that maybe I'm too selfish.
Okay.
Too transactional. And lack empathy, which is why I was kind of laughing.
Cool.
Yeah.
So which are any of those true?
All of them.
Okay. What's the belief around you needing to be transactional?
I believe, in terms of transactional, a lot of people actually think that I'm more transactional than I am. Because it's I will take things that are more selfishly twined to benefit me.
What's that belief?
I think it's selfish. I want to.
Yeah, but you're not going to think yourself as being selfish.
Okay.
Right? It's not. So no one believes that they're selfish. What is the belief that you've got around doing this stuff for you?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess I have to be or I want to be anything that's in that schema.
Yeah. What is that for you? Is that I need to get there first? What is the belief?
I feel like I have a level of responsibility.
For you?
For me.
So you need to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
This responsibility.
Big time, actually.
Big time. And what's the chatter that is telling you this? What's it actually saying?
No one else is going to do it. No one else is going to do it for me. And if anyone's going to do it, I may as well do it to the best of my ability.
Cool. Can you notice the tone that's in?
Aggressive.
Who does it sound like?
Me?
No. Who was it growing up?
Oh, actually, I didn't have that though growing up. My dad was really kind.
Cool. Who was it? An uncle?
Okay, maybe it was the people who I was associated with when I was younger.
Good. You don't need to tell me who it is.
Yeah.
But you know who it is.
Yeah.
All right? Yes?
Yeah, I'd say there was conglomerate.
Cool.
Yeah.
But is there one person that it sounds like?
Not specifically. But I mean, even in football, there's a lot of that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Was it a coach? Was it an older person?
Literally, most football teams that you're at, it's like that.
Cool.
I was also pretty fat when I was younger.
Cool.
Big ups to the fat crew.
So you've still got that inner voice.
It's almost like I see both sides to the coin. I understand and value it.
Yeah. But in that moment when you're being selfish,
yeah,
that's the tone that you're hearing.
Yeah.
And it's that aggressive tone.
Yeah.
And it sounds like the guys at football.
Yeah. And I would also say that I treat my other people like that as well.
Cool.
which is a big character flaw.
Cool. So you know now that this isn't you.
Yeah, it's a trained behavior.
You know, this voice or this chatter that you've got in your head that's telling you to do something, it's programmed within you.
Yeah.
It's not yours.
Yeah.
It's not yours to keep. Right? So this belief is that, what was it again? No one's going to help you? No one's going to...
Yeah, it's up to me to do it.
It's up to you.
And if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it to the best of my ability.
Cool. So your belief is that you need to do it because no one else is going to do it for you.
Yeah.
Cool. So are you wanting to remove that belief and for you to be aware of it consciously?
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. Is that a bad belief to have?
Is it bad? Is it affecting you at the moment?
I think it's helping me at the moment. But I could also see how could it not help me.
So I can only help you where you want to be helped.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you want to be helped?
Let's say in the extreme, because I'm all for improving my blind spots, but this to me is something that I don't necessarily, that I know, this could be a blind spot of me right now that I don't know, right? And maybe you can help me figure out where that is affecting me.
Yeah.
But when I think about the current circumstances of being a 20-year-old kid doing as much as possible as I can, it's not hindering me yet, but I could see 100% in 5-10 years how that really could hinder me.
Cool.
But I'm also aware of that, right?
Is it hindering your relationships now with your friends?
Yes.
Is a relationship with your friends important to you?
Yes.
So would you like to improve that area of your life?
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
But keep it confined to a select amount of people.
I can't do that. It's just you. You are the person that controls this.
Okay.
Right? I'm only a guide.
Yeah.
I can only take you where you want to go and what you really want and desire.
Okay.
There's no mind trick.
Yeah.
There's no mind control.
Yet. Or not.
Right?
Next episode.
So, yeah, it's not like in the movies where I'm making you cluck like a chicken. I'm taking mind control. So I can only take you where you want to go.
Yeah.
It sounds like you've got a really good, awesome bunch of friends here as well. So that tells me that you hold connection with friends in high regard.
Yeah.
And you want to improve your connection with friends.
100%.
So let's help you improve that connection.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
So this belief from out of 1 to 10, how strongly do you think and feel about it? Like how true is this?
It's my ideology, I'd say.
So 10.
10, yeah.
Cool. How would you know that you've been hypnotized after?
Maybe like an 8 if I was to go and reflect on it.
Cool.
And think about.
So if I brought you out of trance and I'll be asking you again,
Yeah.
tell me more about this belief. How would you feel about it, and what would you say?
I feel like maybe it would be the prioritization. Because I really prioritize like ruining my 20s and trying to get as much done as possible in my 20s.
Yep.
And then my 30s kind of like relax.
Yep.
And, yeah.
Yep. So you could still keep this value or this trait.
Yeah.
But you could sort of clean it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So it doesn't, you can still improve the areas of life that you want to improve. So you can use it to when you want to use it.
Yeah.
Not let it control you.
Okay. Yeah. I like
So if I was to bring you back into now after the session and it wasn't a 10, it was less, how would you feel about it? How would you know that would you be convinced that you're hypnotized?
Would I know?
Yeah. If it went from like 10
Yeah.
and it changed less in moments.
I feel like I'd have to live it. I feel like I'd have to see it. I don't know if I'd be able to immediately feel the tangible difference.
Yeah, but if after the hypnosis you went from 10
Yeah.
and the tangible difference is that it's less,
Yeah.
would that be a difference for you?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
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 So would that be like a real tangible thing? You're like, hang on, it seems silly now that it was a 10.
Yeah. I guess. Yeah.
Would you be convinced then?
Yeah. Yeah. Going deep and reflecting, I think, yeah, that would.
Okay, cool. I'll get you to close your eyes.
Okay.
Take some deep breaths.
Box breathing. What are we saying?
No, it's okay.
Fives?
No, just do your thing, man. Do your thing. And I want you to listen to me as much as everything that I tell you. Take some deep breaths. And I know that you've got a racing mind. And I know that you love to wonder. So I want you to know that it's okay to wonder. Go and think about this podcast. Think about yesterday. Think about tomorrow. It's okay. You don't need to feel like you're in deep trance or you're in deep hypnosis. But that part of you that is in your subconscious, I'm going to be speaking to that. And I'm going to be asking it questions later on. But I want you to get more and more deeper and deeper relaxed. Deeper and deeper relaxed. I want you to imagine that there's no one else in this room, that it's just me and you. You're in this dark room and you're totally relaxed. Deeper and deeper relaxed. Do you remember that time when you were away on holidays? A moment when you were just so relaxed, deep relaxed. Maybe a moment at home, maybe you're away somewhere. A moment in time when you just thought to yourself, this is the best. And you're so relaxed, deeper and deeper relaxed. And you go off and you are walking because you're wanting to get even more relaxed. And you find yourself looking at a spa that's overlooking one of the most beautiful scenes that you've ever seen before. And you dip in your toes and your toes get a little bit tingly. You know that tingling feeling when you get into the spa? But I only want your toes to feel tingly. Can you feel that now in your toes? You can. And you say to yourself, I wonder what it feels for my whole body to feel tingly. And so you're curious. And you dip into the spa now. And it's one of the most amazing experiences that you feel. The tingling sensations are spreading all throughout your body. And it feels so warm, so good, so relaxed. You're so heavy yet so light at the same time. And as you're looking out into the scene, maybe you look overlooking the beach or a mountain. You're in deep reflection and deep thought, the thing that you always do. Because you're a curious mind, you're a thinker. You're a philosopher. But then you realize that you're not looking outwards, you're looking inwards. And you're saying to yourself that this belief that I have around being transactional, trying to protect myself, is not sustainable for my successful future. People need and want to connect with me, and I need to connect with others too. I haven't been shown how to do it. But regardless of this, it's my responsibility to look into this a little bit more. If people are telling me, maybe there is some truth. And so you ask yourself and you decide that you're really wanting to explore and resolve this limiting belief that's been holding you back for such a long time. And so you know the best way of going and resolving it is in your subconscious. We're about to go into your and speak to your subconscious, and we're going to do this via a spiral staircase. I want you to go down a spiral staircase, round and around the spiral staircase. And as you're walking around, I want you just to pause and pay attention. Look around this room. What does it look like? Is it new? Is it old? Does it look like a staircase that's familiar? What does it smell like? Is it fresh? Is it stale? Before going on this big adventure, what would you normally eat? Is it a protein shake? Is it a muesli bar? Is it a swig of water? Is it a banana? What can you taste in your mouth that you've just finished eating? And as you're walking down the spiral staircase, I want you to feel how it feels at the bottom of your feet. Is it hard or soft? Let me know. Is it hard or soft?
Hard.
It is hard. Are you wearing shoes or are you barefoot?
Always shoes.
Cool. Are you wearing runners or soccer boots?
Dunks.
You are. And I want you to keep walking around further and further, deeper and deeper into your subconscious. This next step that you take, you haven't taken it yet. I want you to slow down time. You know in the movies when things just slow down? I want you to see your foot. But I don't want you to take this next step now. I'm going to count backwards from 3 and you're going to get even double relaxed when you touch this step. As soon as you touch it, you're going to get double relaxed. Deeper and deeper relaxed. You can feel every muscle in your body just feel heavier. Your shoulders, your neck, everything just feel heavier. 3, closer and closer to this next step. 2, closer and closer. I don't want you to take it now, but when I ask you to get closer, I want you to get double relaxed. I'm going to click my fingers. 2, 1. double relaxed now. Everything is double relaxed. We're going to go down to the bottom of the staircase. And we're going to meet your highest self. It's this version of you that is moments from now without this limiting belief, without this fear, internal fear of opening himself to not being transactional. I want you to pay attention to how he looks and feels. I want you to see how grounded he is. I want you to see how calm. I want you to see his aura and notice that he's brighter. I want you to notice that people want to be connected with him. He is a place of safety, not a place of transaction. And life is so much easier for him. It's flowing, it's smoother, it's enjoyable. He's able to feel happy, he's able to feel joy because himself is open. And he's just able to let go and surrender to what is. And then you compare it to your aura, to yourself, to your light. And notice that it's a little bit dim. Notice that it looks different. You've been running, but also you've been a little bit scared. You've been running away from fear. You've been going towards success, running away from fear. And I just want you to see what life looks like if you're running towards abundance. No longer fear. Because of this decision. And so you ask your highest self, when was the first event that I decided this decision? How old was I? And what does your highest self say? And I don't want you to try and remember, even if it doesn't make sense. What age did you decide that you needed to be looking after yourself? And I want you to let me know.
13.
13? It
Yeah.
is 13. What I want you to do is I want you to see this 13-year-old version of you standing next to your highest self. And I want you to see that he's looking at you with so much joy. Because he looks at you like you're a superhero. And he does everything that you say. And he's so excited because he is going to travel and guide you to that moment of 13. Since he knows exactly where it is. I want you to hold his hand and I want you to notice that he's floating up higher and higher, higher and higher. And I want you to float out of your body so you can see yourself sitting on the chair, higher and higher. You can see yourself sitting on the chair. You can see this whole studio. I want you to float higher and higher, and I want you to notice your past timeline and your future timeline. I want you to float towards your past. And I want you to go to when you're 13. Let me know when you get there. When you've made that decision.
Okay.
Good. I want you to go into the event and notice the decision being made. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Good. Underneath that decision, there is an emotion that allowed you to make that decision. Can you notice that it's fear?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Cool. Where can you feel that in your body? Just before you made that commitment to yourself that you needed to do things on your own, where can you feel it in your body?
My back.
Good. It is in your back. So what I want you to do is tell me, when you're feeling this fear, what are the things that you're telling about yourself? What are the negative beliefs in that moment, just before you made that decision that you needed to do things on your own?
It was actually an event that happened.
Good. In that moment when you're feeling that fear, or in that event, while you're feeling this fear, just before you make that decision, what are the beliefs that you're telling yourself while you're feeling that fear? Starting with I am not.
Yeah, I'm not good enough.
I'm not good enough. Good. Great. And I want you to see that for most of you, for this thing that you're telling yourself that you're not good enough has been holding you back. Because you've been constantly trying to prove to yourself and to others that you are good enough. And so you're just doing more and more, trying to protect yourself. Can you see that?
Mm.
Good. What I want you to do is I want you to go in there to the person that you are today, this old wise man that you are. And I want you to speak to that 13-year-old version of you. This scared 13-year-old boy. What does he need from you to allow him to feel safe, that he's not scared? What does he need from you? Only you know this.
Probably not feeling like the judgment of others.
Good. So how would he know that he's feeling, not that there's no judgment? What do you need to give him?
Probably approval. So
Yeah. Do you need to give him reassurance?
yeah, like it doesn't really matter.
Good. Yeah. Having a chat with him.
Yeah.
Maybe he's a 13-year-old. Maybe he needs a hug. Right. Just to make sure that they're letting him know that, hey, someone is here to protect you. Someone's got you. Only you know what's best for him. So I want you to do whatever you know that you need, that he needs to feel safe, away from fear. Remember that he's scared. So what does he need to make him feel safe? Maybe a hug. Or maybe just some reassurance. Maybe some wisdom, like an older brother would give. And what I want you to see now, I want you to tell me, what are the positive learnings that you're seeing from this moment? No longer through the eyes of a 13-year-old. Starting with I am, what are the positive learnings? By the way, as you're giving him this safety and this hug, he's feeling so much better about himself. He's got a smile on his face. And then he goes off and does his most favorite thing. What's his thing that he loves to do most at that age?
Loves Minecraft.
He does. He loves creativity, doesn't it?
Mm.
Yeah. And I think that's possibly something that you've forgotten. Creativity means that he is allowed to express himself, not just transact. I want you to remember how it felt playing Minecraft. How did it feel?
Top tier.
Yeah. Can you feel that feeling now?
Still do.
Cool. Awesome. Starting with I am, what are the positive learnings that you're learning now about you, opposed to the negative ones or the ones that you said that you're not good enough?
I'm the only thing that needs the confirmation.
Good.
I'm the only way that I will get the confirmation or
Cool.
the assurance.
Yeah. Starting with I am, what are the positive beliefs that you can now see through your eyes?
I'm enough.
You are enough. What else can you see?
I'm loved.
You are loved. Do you also notice that you're safe?
Yeah.
Good. I want you to go into that event now. I want you to tell me, is the fear there or is it gone now?
Yeah, I guess it's not there.
Are you sure?
I'm 13, so I guess it's still a little bit, but not in the same sense.
Mm-hmm. Is the fear there from your back or is it gone now?
Not the same way.
Mm-hmm. What do you mean?
Fear of being a 13-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
Same fear that I was feeling at the beginning.
The same
is-
fear?
That's gone.
Okay. So that fear from the back is gone?
Yeah.
Good. Completely gone?
Yeah.
Cool. I want you to travel backwards in time. Before you made that decision that you're not enough, I want you to go to the moment when you did decide that you were enough. And I want you to let me know when you get there. Yeah. Good. I want you to look towards now, and because you haven't made that old decision of you not being enough, I want you to notice now the new opportunities of you are enough and how life looks different from this view. Can you see the new opportunities? Can you also see and notice that because you haven't made that old decision, that old decision is no longer there?
Yeah.
Good. I want you to see now your timeline readjusting to this new decision that you are enough and that you are loved and that you are safe. And I want you to see the new opportunities. And knowing that you're enough, how does life change? What new decisions are you making? How are your relationships different? How is your success different? Which level are you operating at? From abundance now instead of scarcity? And notice that everything just a knowing that everything is going to be okay. And it's okay. There's no rush. There is just abundance. And I want you to come back all the way to now. Letting go of all that fear from your past all the way up until today. And notice that all the fear from that moment all the way up until today, all the fear that you've experienced from the past, is it there or is it gone now?
It's gone.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
All the memories are there, but I want you to notice that the feeling and emotions, things that you were possibly stressed about or scared about in the past, is it there or is it gone now?
It's gone.
It is gone. And I want you to come back and notice your timeline looks different. It's calmer. I want you to look into your future timeline and notice that it's brighter and easier. Your new timeline just feels different. It even smells different. It smells more fresh, doesn't it?
Fruity.
It does. I want you to look over to your left into the distance and notice your old timeline. And notice that it's a little bit rusty and old. It's got that old limiting belief in that timeline. It's got that fear. And now you understand the missed opportunities in that timeline. Where if you had the opposite belief, things would have been different. I want you to notice 3 missed opportunities in that old timeline, in that old rusty, smelly timeline. And now you know. You can see things from a different point of view. I want you to come back, floating towards now. I want you to see your new timeline readjust itself to this new belief that you are enough. All the way. I want you to come back down to the staircase. I want you to meet your highest self. And notice that you and him are the same now. That your aura is bright, that you're grounded, that you're just different. That there is a change. You've just gone on this experience. And you can see things from a different point of view. You are him and he is you. I want you to come up, fly, not walk, up the stairs, the spiral staircase. I want you to come back into the room. I don't want you to open your eyes yet. I'm going to count backwards from 3. But I want you to know that when you open your eyes, things is going to seem different. Your outlook on life is going to be different. And it's totally okay. It's normal. We've just upgraded your software. Fast. 3, 2, 1. Open your eyes.
My head's spinning. Yeah.
Welcome back, man.
My head's actually spinning. If I grab some
Go for it,
water.
man. Take your time. So your brain's a little bit fried at the moment. You're trying to adjust it to its new reality.
Yeah, damn. Is that Kobe Bryant? That's from my dream. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Damn.
How was that experience for you?
My head was actually spinning for the last 10 minutes.
Wow.
I was seeing like stars. I was seeing like floating stuff. I'm like, damn.
Did it seem real for you?
Yeah. Like the foot thing, and I'm like, oh, I actually know like that exact staircase.
Yeah.
Yeah, my head's actually like a little bit. I need a bit more salt in the diet, I think. Goodness me.
Yeah, so your brain doesn't know the difference between real and not real.
Yeah.
So if we put people into an alternate reality and let them see things from a different point of view and let them experience things from a different point of view, to them it's real.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, from 1 to 10, how was this belief of you needing to do things on your own now? Before it was 10, what is it now?
A humble 9.
Cool.
I'm pretty stubborn.
Stubborn.
Yeah.
Cool. What about the fear? Is it there or is it gone now?
The fear's not.
That's completely gone.
Put me to the test in 5 months, we'll see. But it definitely puts it into perspective.
Yeah. So since the fear not being there, it's dropped.
Yeah.
It dropped your belief.
Yeah.
But the emotion of fear is gone.
Yeah.
Is your mind less racy?
Again, we'll see in a few weeks.
What is it now?
It's definitely calm now.
Calm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is your outlook on your future a lot more positive?
I'm very delusionally optimistic anyway. So I'd say it's pretty similar. I haven't got into the full, like it was when I looked to the right and I saw the timeline, I'm like, it's glowing.
Cool.
It's glowing.
Nice. Cool. That's it, man.
Amazing.
That's the experience.
That was an experience and a half.
Yeah.
I felt like relaxed, and then, yeah, when my head started doing, I'm really like typically afraid of like feeling head spins.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is when you took me to the moment when I was 13. Can I explain what that moment was?
Please.
Okay. I had a stress fracture in my back.
Mm-hmm.
Alfie and I both had a stress fracture. We were both playing football this time, and like when I got told that was like a moment in time where everything just changed for me.
Mm-hmm.
And not that I knew that it was going to happen then, but it was the first time that I had like an out of body like experience in terms of like, I didn't like, it's the only memory that I have is actually seeing it from like a third perspective.
Mm-hmm.
It's like literally Shanika did a design of this studio
Yeah.
from a doll's perspective.
Yeah.
And I was, when he said, look at the studio from above, I was thinking, this guy's already made that. I know exactly what this looks like. And that's the exact like memory that I had when I was 13 years old is I only remember it from the POV of above. And that's where I was. And it was really interesting because the moment I was like so lightheaded in that moment that my only recollection is from a third party perspective.
Ah.
Yeah. It was crazy.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. But as you can see, it's not like what you see in the movies.
No. But I did feel like clucking at one point.
Yeah. So it's like sort of like a deep meditation where you're in control. And I'm only able to take you where you really want to go.
Yeah, I have to be open.
You have to be open, but like, you know what? Taking ultimate responsibility. If I want to get to success, this is the thing that's holding me back. And there's no reason for me to hang on to this.
Mm.
Whereas you see at the start, you were like, well, I need it as a 20-year-old, 20-something-year-old.
It feels like a choice now, I guess.
It's a choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you can turn it on or turn it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that to me is the perspective that I have now.
Yes.
Is it becomes more of a choice rather than something that's almost like airdrop to me. Like it's like
so is that choice, because before it wasn't a choice.
Yeah, it felt like it was a responsibility that I had to.
Now is that choice 100% your choice?
Yeah, I feel like that's a defining thing. Is it now feels like it's.
So I would argue that it's no longer at 10.
Okay, yeah.
It's either 0 or 10.
Remember, I'm stubborn, so I can't admit complete defeat.
Yeah. Yeah. Because now you're in control.
Yeah.
It's not controlling you.
Yeah. That's that perspective.
Yes.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. That's
Wow.
it. And that's how I bring people's performance better, quicker and faster.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can see now how the application is, I could have spoken to you and tried to convince you, but it doesn't really work that way.
Mm.
I couldn't have convinced you that without doing this, that you could have seen a different perspective.
Yeah.
It changes things faster for you.
The Boktor method. That's awesome. Wow. Okay. That's yeah. Now I'm meant to do a podcast episode. I'm thinking, where are my notes? Okay. Wow. No, that's really awesome. And thank you for doing that as well. That's
Sorry.
yeah. I guess it took a bit for me to also be vulnerable, but
Yeah. No, thank you. And honestly, a lot of people can't do that.
yeah.
Right. So at 20, man, I was still picking my nose. Right.
Oh, that hasn't gone. Like, just don't check under the desk.
Right. So what you're doing here is amazing, man. Like, yeah. So I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was a bum, man. So hats off to you. You're doing an incredible thing. I really love what you're doing. I really want to support you.
Thank you.
And I really want to let you know that to keep going. Right. Because you're in a really good role. Well done.
Well, Karim, it was a pleasure having you on.
Thank
Truly.
you.
Thank you so much for this. It was an experience and a half. Like, truly.
Yeah.
When I messaged you last night, I'm like, it was funny. I sent a photo to the boys. I'm like, let's see if you can do it live. And then you messaged me and you said, do it live. And I'm like, let's go. Let's go. So thank you.
Cool. No worries. Thank you.
It was
Thank
awesome.
you. Thank you very much.
Amazing. Boys, what an episode.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Karim. That was
Awesome.
I thank the stars.